When it rains, it pours. The music goes indoors.
Arts in the Park, baby.
That's right. Welcome to the Arts in the Park podcast.
Hello.
Can you grab me a bubbly?
Bubbly, please. Yeah, what flavor of bubbly?
Do you really want to drink sparkling?
Is that a bad idea?
They're gonna burp all over the podcast.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Whatever.
Talk about the complaint that we had about the butter.
What did she say? She used some real fun language. It was like, this is an attack on my palate that will not soon be forgotten. And like, I was reminded of when I was a child and my dad was forcing me to eat raw liver.
Wow. That is... That's a bit much, isn't it? Hello, and welcome to the Yukon Theater Podcast, episode 2. My name is Evan Stepanian. I am somebody who works at the Yukon Film Society. And with me, I have...
My name is Sebastian Lepre. I also work at the Yukon Film Society.
What do you do?
Associate programmer and operations.
Sick title.
Thank you. And then here.
I am Emmett Ross, and I also work at the Yukon Film Society and also at the Yukon Cinema. And I am a projectionist and, mostly just a projectionist. Supervisor, sometimes, kinda.
What's your favorite color?
Green.
Green. Good answer.
I did get a new tattoo, and I got my hair done.
Wow.
Since last time.
Frosted tips.
I'm feeling very cool, feeling very hot.
It's
Summer look.
it's hilarious how like people who are younger than me try and look like the cool kids did when I was young, you know, like it's kind of funny how fashion circles back, if you can call it fashion. Okay. We are delivering this podcast not from our offices, but from the Yukon Cinema. There's our popcorn machine, our film suggestion box. We've got popcorn here. The floors are cool and patterned and very neat. What else?
We got the chalkboard back there. I don't know if you can see it.
We'll do some B-roll of that later, maybe. Yeah, we're just trying a new location this time around. Just see how it goes. Channel some of that cinematic energy. Cinematic, not in the like film way, but like the cinema, like as in the cinema. Anyways, let's start it off with Sebastian. You pass the mic. What was your favorite film you've seen at the theater or not in the last month?
The last thing I saw at the cinema was Furiosa, which I enjoyed. I thought it was very fun. I thought it was very exciting, very colorful. The very beautiful cinematography. I thought Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth were both excellently cast. I thought it was very fun. But I'm feeling a little bit ambivalent towards the film.
Tell us more.
I think Fury, I mean, it's hard to follow up Fury Road also, but I think Fury Road it built so much of a world. And there was so many unanswered questions that I think it felt right to leave unanswered. It built this whole like mythos and mythology around the world.
Yeah.
And this film kind of tended to answer a lot of them.
Okay, and you didn't like that. You don't want the answers.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I liked it. It just as this like expansive world, and the more you kind of answer those questions, the smaller the world feels in some ways.
Interesting. Okay.
But I still thought it was very fun. I thought it was an excellent film. Just hard to follow up a film like Fury Road.
Yeah, Fury Road was just like one of the greatest cinematic pieces of art of our time. You know, like it's just an incredible, on par with like Lawrence of Arabia and like all these other like epic, like, what did you think? Did you see Furiosa, Emmett?
I did not.
You did not?
Did
Okay.
you?
I didn't. Well, I did see it actually. If you saw our promo video for it, I did see it and it blew my socks off. I loved it. It was great. Emmett, what about you? What's the best or your favorite film that you've seen at the theater in the last month? Or not?
Racking my brain. I don't think I've come and seen a movie at the theater.
But you've been here.
I've been here. I've spent every single day here.
Okay, what's the best like reaction to a film you've seen? Like people come out into like stagger out into this lobby and they're like, "Whoa, that was amazing," or like, "Whoa, that was weird," or
I think it was kids seeing Garfield.
Yeah.
I saw so many kids with just like huge smiling faces coming out of Garfield.
oh,
Just
you
so
love to hear
excited.
that. I feel like on this episode we're going to talk a lot about like kids movies and all the great kids movies we're showing at the theater, and I feel like kids movies have like gotten really good and like thoughtful, and like they really know how to like entertain the adults too, which I think is important. Summer vacation is here coming up.
I think it's here.
I guess it's exam season, so summer vacation is happening. It's been so long since I've been in school. Yeah. Okay, cool. I definitely haven't seen any films at the theater in the last month, but my favorite film that I saw in the last month was a great movie called How to Blow Up a Pipeline. Have either of you guys seen it? Oh man, so good. Just like an amazing like ensemble cast, kind of like heist movie that takes place out in the desert, and they're like blowing up. It's like environmental activists who are like blowing up a pipeline, and it's just so well done. I think it's from like 2022. It was at TIFF, and holy, check that one out. I think it's on Crave actually.
Was it a documentary?
No, it's like a drama, but really well done. Amazing acting, great cinematography. That kind of reminds me of like that, like I don't know, like early 2000s, like Malcolm in the Middle meets like I'm just gonna name a bunch of TV shows, but like Breaking Bad, kind of like cinematography, like hot, just beautiful, really well done. Cool. All right, so what's playing at the theater right now? Is that how do we usually do this? That's how we do it.
We've done it once.
There's no rules. Feels a little bit more structured now. Less banter. Let's start with what's playing now. What's playing now? Seb? Emmett? Seb? Whoever. We need another microphone. I'm sorry.
We have Imaginary Friends playing right now.
Oh.
Which is the new film by John Krasinski, from the mind of John Krasinski.
You mean If?
If, yes. If for short.
If for
Imaginary Friends for long.
IF. Got it.
Ryan Reynolds and Steve Carell are cast in it, among many others. Do you have anything to say about it? You've kind of been working at the cinema. What have the reactions been so far?
Seems like a fun movie. It's the first time John Krasinski and Steve Carell have worked together since The Office, I think, which is kind of a fun like reuniting. It seems just like a lot of fun. Good movie to bring your kids to. Lots of kids coming out with big smiling faces after seeing the movie. The lead character's big and purple and cute, and just seems like a blast.
A great cast, like aside from John Krasinski and Steve Carell, there's like Fiona Shaw, who's we all know as Aunt Petunia in the Harry Potter series.
Yep.
She's also in Killing Eve and Andor and True Detective. Like amazing actress. She's in this film. And Liza Colon-Zayas, who plays Tina from The Bear.
Oh,
The Bear's going to come up a couple times in this podcast, I think.
Yes.
And then there's like other comedy people: Steve Carell, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Awkwafina, Keegan-Michael Key, and then there's like just a ton of like other like famous people in this movie who like voice all the different imaginary friends. And I feel like that is like exactly what like adults who are going to see this movie with their kids want to come and see, because they'll hear voices like George Clooney and Brad Pitt and just be like, whoa, cool. And it's sort of like a celebrity like mystery guess kind of like game you can play with yourself while you watch this, which I think is great for adults, because like sometimes when you're watching kids movies it can be a little boring or sleepy, but maybe that's what you want. Maybe you want to take a nice little nap during your film with your kids. Also, I took a little deep dive on this film because
That's good.
why not? there's like an amazing cinematographer working on this film, Janusz Kaminski, who shot like pretty much every Steven Spielberg film that we all love, which is amazing. And then a score from Michael Giacchino, who I fell in love with when he did the score for Lost. Did you guys ever watch Lost?
A little bit.
Oh my
Not
God.
much though.
Great show. Anyways, he's also done the soundtrack for like Up, the Star Trek movies, Rogue One, The Batman, which is like great score.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's gonna be a sweet movie. That one's playing Friday, June 7th, which is in the past now, to Thursday, June 13th. So you still got some time. And then we're doing a bunch of school screenings of that film as well. So we're going to have like a bunch of kids in here in the middle of the day, which is the thing that we do here. So if you're watching this from a school or some kind of other group and you want to do like a daytime screening, shoot us a little email at yfs@yukonfilmsociety.com and you can do some fun group screenings.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to say about that film? I just said a lot. Sorry.
No, you said it all. It's perfect.
I feel like I didn't do a lot of research for the last one, so I made up for it by
so you're-
doing research for at least
That's
half
right.
of these for this one. Okay, who saw I Saw the TV Glow? You did.
I have not yet, but
Agna, our producer, has.
yes.
And what did you think?
I think it was a good film with a very specific target audience that I was not part of.
A good film with a very specific target audience that Agna, our producer, was not a part of. Didn't hit home. What do you know about this film?
I know that I've seen a few. I mean, I think Agna posted a good letterbox review that someone had written that it's Donnie Darko for they thems. And what was the other one that you had posted that I thought was quite good? I saw a TV Glow. No, it looks. I'm really excited to see it. I might try and go tonight or tomorrow, but I know it's like a kind of like a trans allegory represented through this kind of glowing TV and this almost like subterranean supernatural world. I don't know. Like I've only seen clips from it, but it kind of looks a little bit like that Lynch film.
Mulholland Drive.
No.
Dune.
Oh, sorry, Cronenberg. Oh my God.
Cronenberg. Like video
Videodrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
That's-
like
I've heard-
aspects of like Videodrome-y kind of like surreal, real mixing together.
Yeah.
This kind of like grotesque imagery popping up. So
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
very excited for it.
It's been getting like rave reviews. There's like this 90s VHS aesthetic that goes along with it.
Mm.
And yeah, I think the sort of themes of like a gender identity and dysphoria.
Mhm.
Apparently, this is a director that I have not seen any of their films, but Jane Schoenbrunn,
Mhm.
they've explored it like extensively in their back catalog. So if there are people out there who are interested in that kind of subject matter, check out this director. Just gonna like drop in some other trivia about the film.
Mhm.
The score was composed by Alex G, who is like one of my favorite artists of all time. Like amazing, great kind of like, I don't know, what'd you call his music? Indie weirdo. Yeah.
Kind of has like some of the songs almost have like these kind of operatic kind of crescendos in it, like really beautiful music. I saw him last year in Toronto and it was a really amazing show.
Oh, awesome.
Really, really fun.
Yeah, and then there's music from other artists like Carolyn Polachek, who's like huge right now, Drab Majesty, who's like in a lot of TikTok videos and stuff like that. And apparently also there's like a bunch of like, again, like celebrity cameos in it. You've got Phoebe Bridgers, Lindsay Jordan of Snail Mail, Haley Dahl of Sloppy Jane, and Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit. In indie music royalty.
Yeah.
Do you know Limp Bizkit?
I know of Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
What have the vibes been of people coming out of I Saw the TV Glow, Emmett?
There was 2 people at the cinema last night, and it was Agna. But I got to catch a little bit the last like 5 minutes of I Saw the TV Glow, and I must say the little bit that I saw, I was both transfixed and disgusted at the same time. It was like horrifying, but I couldn't keep my eyes away. Seemed really, really, really great. Whatever allegory they were going for, it seemed like that they hit it pretty hard.
That's what you want out of your horror movies. All right, from I Saw the TV Glow to Hitman. Did anybody see this? No. I'll just talk about what I know about this film. It's directed by Richard Linklater, who we know and love from Dazed and Confused, School of Rock, A Scanner Darkly, Waking Life, Boyhood, the Before trilogy, Before Midnight, After Sunset.
All of the three.
Something like that. Dude loves Ethan Hawke. Yeah, and it's starring Glenn Powell, who was in Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, Glenn Powell also co-wrote this film. And apparently it's based off of an article from Texas Monthly, a magazine. I did like a real deep dive on this. Texas Monthly magazine. And this is actually Linklater's like second film that he's written from an article from this like random magazine in Texas. And actually from the same writer. What the other film he made from this magazine is called Bernie with Jack Black. Not a super popular one, but it's also starring Adria Arjona, who's in Andor, who plays Bix in Andor. Great role. For those of you who have seen Andor, you know she smashes it, and she's great in this as well, I've heard. And that is playing June 7th to June 13th as well, Friday to Thursday. It's kind of how we run the films at the cinema. Anybody have anything else to say about that movie?
I'm excited to see it.
Do you know what it's about?
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story. I think you are a little bit more familiar with it, Evan, so you correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I will.
But it's about like an FBI informant, for lack of better words, who creates these different personas of hitmen to attract people looking for hitmen to assassinate, whoever. And then he basically like brings them in and then gets them to confess and then shows who they really are, basically. And like I'm not doing a very good job explaining it.
No, it's great. It's a perfect
and then
description.
But then in the film he falls in love with one of his clients or supposed clients, and then that's where the kind of dramatic tension of the film ensues and departs from. Is my understanding.
Yeah, it looks great. I can't wait to see it. Okay, we talked about If. So that's kind of what's playing now, I believe. Is there anything else we're missing? Cool. And so let's talk about what's coming soon. With Inside Out. You want to talk about Inside Out?
2.
Inside Out 2?
Agnes shaking her head very excitedly, nodding very excitedly. I'm very excited to see it. Yeah.
Have you seen Inside Out 1?
I have not.
Has anybody
So
seen any movies?
I know.
I have seen Inside Out.
Tell me about it.
It's a fantastic movie.
Why was it such a hit that they had to do again?
I think it's just about like a beautiful coming of age story. Like tackling puberty from inside someone's mind, a young woman's mind, is like, I think it's a really good way of showing like what your brain is going to be going through as you like go through all of these huge life changes and events, and puberty.
Cool. I heard that they like actually sort of interviewed like psychologists and like neuroscientists when they were like making the first one to kind of like get everything right. And to me it's sort of like if you don't go to therapy and you watch this movie, you might get some of the things that you would get out of therapy out of it, in a way, which is kind of nice, which I think we all kind of need. It looks cool. Another movie with like a whole bunch of great like voice actors. We've got Maya Hawke playing the star of the movie. What's her name? Riley. So this one follows her through her teenage years and throwing a new emotion in the mix. Played by Maya Hawke, who plays anxiety, the new emotion. Can you attest to anxiety being a new emotion in teenagehood?
Yeah. Yeah, I think like right as you hit that 12-year-old, 13-year-old, you're like, what is this?
Yeah. I mean, Maya Hawke, daughter of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, she's having an amazing run with like Wildcat, Maestro, Asteroid City, really smashing it. We've also got Amy Poehler, who plays Joy, of course. Phyllis Smith from The Office, who plays Sadness, which is like classic Phyllis. Lewis Black playing Anger. Tony Hale playing Fear. That's Buster from Arrested Development, a very fearful person. And then we've also got Ayo Edebiri, who's huge on Letterboxd, who we know from The Bear. Oh, that reminds me. Should we do The Bear season 3 premiere at the theater? Do you think that would go over well?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think? We got the nod from the producer, so it's happening. Stay tuned for that one, either formally or informally. We'll see. I don't know how that would work with like licensing. TV at the movies. What a weird concept. Yeah, another film that like you want to come see with your kids, you know, and like.
I will say you should buy your tickets early for that one because it will be massively popular.
You think? Yeah.
I think so. I think it's going to sell. I think the opening weekend it will sell out.
Opening this Friday, June 14th, and that's going to run until July 4th. We're going to do a big run of that one. So come on out. Summertime. What better time to come and watch a movie inside with your kids? I mean, sometimes like summer's busy. Sometimes you just need to like sit in a dark room and like laugh and cry and do all those things. So, yeah, fun and psychological reflection for the whole family. You want to talk about Babes or no? No, I can talk about Babes.
You want to talk about
Yeah, you
Babes?
look a
I
little
can talk
bit,
about handling the undead.
Okay. Also coming up, opening on June 14th going till June 20th, we have Babe starring Alana Glazer from Broad City. Hilarious, amazing, like just like cutting edge comedy TV show ridiculousness. Got Michelle Buteau in that film as well. She's a rising comedy star. And then we have first time director Pamela Adlon, who played Bobby Hill in the King of the Hill series. She was also in the series with Louis C.K. And a whole bunch of other like amazing like sort of comedy shows, movies. Like she's just kind of like one of these people who's always been, we've known that she's funny, and now we get to see what she does when she's in control of a project. And yeah, this film I think is a great debut for her. It sort of follows two women living in New York City, the Big Apple, navigating motherhood and friendship, and it's heartfelt and hilarious are the two H words I would use to describe it. I think, yeah, a great one to come out and see for that. Okay, next we have Handling the Undead. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, Handling the Undead is coming out also very soon. Do you have? I don't know. Do you have the date on you?
I do have the date on me. We've got 2 screenings of Handling the Undead, and we might add more, I think.
We may.
Friday, June 14th, and Sunday, June 16th. Oh, actually, and then Wednesday, June 19th as well. But we might fill in those gaps for Handling the Undead.
Yeah, really cool looking film. It's kind of like taking an angle of a zombie movie that I haven't really seen before, where, you know, I think there's horror, but it's more of like a drama in terms of what it would actually be like to see your folks kind of rise from the dead around you and, you know, come back to life, but aren't necessarily, you know, ghouls in the way that we think of when we think of like a George Romero film. It's more, I think, quiet and slow paced, and there's horror in it, but it's a film I think ultimately about like mourning. And it's written by the same the same writer, John Ajvide Lindqvist, who wrote Let the Right One In, and
great film.
yeah,
Great film.
as well as Border, which screened for ALF maybe
yeah,
3 or
right.
4 years ago,
Yeah,
5 years
that's
ago.
right. Amazing.
Which was also a really interesting, weird film about the trolls working at a security as security guards at the airport.
So we
Right.
can say about this director that they like do a kind of more like tender, human centric, or maybe not even necessarily human, but a more kind of personal look at these like horror genre kind of
Yeah.
films. Like, yeah, it is kind of funny when you watch like a horror movie and it's just like people screaming and like, but it's like, what happens after that when you're like processing all this like horror that's around you, all these like crazy things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the zombie genre, we're so attuned to thinking of zombies as like capital Z zombies.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Brain thirsty, like violent, like things. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a really interesting take on the kind of changing a lot of those kind of genre tropes and in some I think beautiful ways. Is my
Yeah.
assumption.
I like saw the trailer for this film and I was like, holy, I love zombie movies.
Yeah.
And this was like, okay, so it's like I love zombie movies so much. This one's probably gonna actually make me cry, which is something I've never experienced with a zombie movie.
What's your favorite zombie movies to each of you?
I mean, 28 Days Later is the greatest of all time. Do you have another one?
Zombieland is the greatest. of all
Oh
time.
yeah, I forgot. Emmett loves Zombieland.
I love Zombieland. I love that movie deeply, with like with from the very core of my being.
Can
I
you
have love for that
recite a
movie.
quote from the film?
No.
Okay, moving on.
That's a great one, actually. It's kind of like that is like it's like a comedy,
Mhm.
like zombie comedy, which is like
Zombie rom-com.
zomcom,
Zomcom.
zomrom-com. Yeah, that one looks amazing. It's starring Renat Reinsve, who is in another movie that made me cry, The Worst Person in the World, which we screened at ALF a couple of years ago, and I wept because it just like pressed my buttons in all the good places. It's also starring Anders Danielsen Lai, who plays Axel in Worst Person of the World, the worst person in the world, and his performance in that movie, like specifically, like made me weep. Like he was just so powerful and so like dynamic and interesting. Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Looks like great horror, but also like tender and like caring in a way that like zombie movies aren't often. Okay, what else is coming soon?
We also have La Chimera coming up.
Oh,
Returning from ALF.
nice. Yeah, I didn't get to see it at ALF, so I'm gonna definitely try and see it.
Yeah, I missed that as well. I think we all missed it because we were all working. But
yeah,
very excited to see it this time around. I've heard nothing but praise about it. It's a film by Alice Rohrwacher.
look it up. Last Chimera. You try
La
and pronounce it.
Yeah. It's with Josh O'Connor. He plays a grave robber, and he gets released from prison at the beginning of the film, and then it just follows his adventures with this miscreant gang of other grave robbers as they kind of descend into this strange world.
I love this concept. It's an amazing concept.
Yeah, exactly. And then
it's shot on film too,
yeah,
I
shot on
believe,
celluloid,
which is cool.
yeah. And
We're
it
doing
has
that again.
Isabella Rossellini, which is
Yeah.
a very good sign when a film
Oh,
has her
yeah.
name on it.
Yeah.
Saddest music in the world.
Yeah,
Blue Velvet.
totally.
Wild at Heart. Death Becomes Her. To name a few. But I love Isabella Rossellini. I think she has such a poignant presence that you can't really forget. I watched Saddest Music in the World somewhat recently, and her performance in it was spectacular. Yeah, excellent.
Cool. That one screens June 18th. It's a Tuesday. One screening, but they might add more. You never know.
Yeah.
These programmers, they're crazy like that. Okay, what else? What else?
What else do we have? Evil Does Not Exist, which we're still in the process of figuring out when exactly.
This
we'll
one
play
I've heard
it.
good things about. My friend
Mhm.
Nikki in London. Nikki, if you're out there, shouts out. Love this one on Letterboxd.
Yeah, Ryuki Hamaguchi. So he recently directed Drive My Car,
Oh, amazing.
which is amazing film.
Yeah.
And I anticipate, the same kind of beauty and kind of careful filmmaking with this one. This film, I think, although the film's in Japan, I think there's such a universal message about gentrification and our relationship to the natural world around us, which I think will resonate very strongly with like Yukon audiences and people in the community here, as we're seeing change, fast and loose. And yeah, it's a film about these like urban developers that come in from the city and create like a glamping experience in a kind of
Yukoners might like that too.
Yeah.
We do love to glamp.
yeah, and it's about all these promises that these developers make that they're slowly start to distance themselves from. And yeah, it looks like a very like thoughtful and very poignant film.
Cool.
Yeah. You have anything to say about?
Is it sort of artistic and beautiful in the way that Perfect Days was, or is it like different vibe?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, but I know Drive My Car. Like the cinematography is very beautiful and like very expansive, and I think my assumption with this film is that there will be a similar kind of careful pacing, but when we see it, we'll be able to let you know.
Nice. That is Evil Does Not Exist. It's screening Thursday, June 20th.
Yes, to be determined though. Keep looking at our website for
Yeah.
details.
Always keep looking. Like anything
Yeah.
we say on this podcast could change, It likely won't, but it's possible. So just double check your showtimes at yukontheater.com.
Yes.
And then what's after that?
Hundreds of Beavers.
Hundreds of Beavers. I am so excited for this film.
It looks like fun.
Yeah.
It looks like
What's it about? Tell us.
a 19th century drunken Applejack salesman going to war against hundreds of beavers.
Say no more.
Uh,
I'm there.
It looks like it's almost all shot with like practical effects,
Yeah.
or maybe not, but it has a very old rustic movie feel.
Yeah, it looks like kind of that like Chaplin-esque
Mhm.
era, but like with crazy practical effects
Mhm.
and just like, yeah, just looks like a psychedelic, crazy, insane story. And it kind of takes place in like a snowy, like windswept kind of like forest. And that just reminds me of a lot of like Yukon made films that I've
Mhm.
seen throughout my life and
Absolutely.
like old Yukon film reels. I feel like when I saw this movie, I was like, we have to show this at the theater. Like people will love this. And I'm kind of almost bummed that we're not showing it like in the dead of winter.
Mm.
It'll still be good. It'll still resonate with everybody. But like if we were showing it like in the middle of winter at Alf, I feel like it would be just the perfect.
Mhm.
Like if we screened it outside, maybe we should bring it back and screen it outside actually.
Mhm.
Stay tuned for that. Outdoor screenings. We love those.
Live action.
Yeah. Live action Looney Tunes is a great way to put it.
The costumes are hilarious as well. They're like
And it's been getting
Suits.
a lot of shine like on the festival circuit like this year. So that's cool. That's really cool
Mhm.
for a movie that is like so strange and like out there for people to be like recognize that like no, this movie is like a work of art, like a technical masterpiece.
I think it also, and I think it speaks to like it was a very cheap budget for what it is.
Oh, really?
I think it was like I would have to double check. You can fact check me and write in. I believe it was like $150,000.
Wow.
For like a 2-hour feature.
That's
shot on,
crazy.
I believe shot on celluloid. like that's a pretty amazing feat to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I think it just goes to show that like there is tons of really interesting stories to be told, and they don't need these like massive budgets. Oh yeah, 150,000.
150,000.
Correct. So yeah, I think it's a good sign for independent cinema.
Yeah,
that
it's
we're getting to see
it's
these kind of
inspiring.
films. Really
to people,
inspiring.
you know,
Yeah.
and it like gives people that like hope that they can like make something really cool that's gonna get noticed without having to spend millions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I mean, 150,000 is also a hard amount of money to raise. But if you're like developing films, there's lots of like funds and stuff out there that you can apply to if you've got a good idea, and like, so just goes to show, just apply to grants. It's easy.
And you could make hundreds of Beavers too.
That one screens Saturday, June 22nd and Sunday, June 23rd. And who knows, maybe we'll bring it back for Alf and screen it outside. I'm gonna push for that. What else?
And then we're kind of entering Doc Week. Which,
what is
I'm
Doc
really
Week?
excited
Tell us all
for.
about Doc Week.
Yeah, so we kind of this year is the 70th anniversary of the Yukon Cinema and the 40th anniversary of the Yukon Film Society. So we're gonna have some kind of events planned in the fall that we can all look forward to. But we're doing this documentary week as kind of a little precursor, a little preview for that, and celebrating local Canadian and international documentary filmmaking that I think are telling the ones we're bringing. I think are telling some really important stories, and I'm really excited to share them. So that'll be running from June 21st to June 27th.
Cool. Tell us your picks for this week of docs.
Yeah, so we're opening with a film by Lisa Jackson, and actually closing the mini festival, with a film by Lisa Jackson as well. But the opening film is How a People Live, which is a history of the Guasala Naquadaks First Nations, and how they were like forcibly relocated by the Canadian government in 1864, and examines like how they were forced to overcome it, and the kind of the continuation of that colonial legacy.
Lisa Jackson.
Yeah, and then the last film, which will be closing the festival, I'll mention it now since we're speaking of her, and she'll be here for the last film, Wilfred Buck.
Oh yeah,
which I'm very excited to see. It looks really interesting. It's a hybrid of Wilfred Buck, who's a Cree elder, and it follows his upbringing, his early adulthood, and then kind of follows what he does now, and he does a lot of teachings. He's a knowledge holder. He does a lot of different classes and educates on like a huge variety of topics, but
like astronomy is like kind of his main thing.
There's a lot of astronomy and star reading. Yeah, exactly.
So cool.
Yeah, it looks really amazing.
And that one we're pairing with Datrin, which is Yukoner Douglas Joe's amazing short film that actually won our Made in the North award at the ALF Festival, the Available Light Film Festival. That was Best Northern Short, and it is incredible. It's such a great film. It's short, it's sweet, it's beautiful. Made me cry. So like that way, it's good if it makes me cry.
Not a dry eye in the audience.
Yeah,
every time we played it a few times now.
Yeah,
and every time.
just a banger. Yeah, so that'll be a good one to go catch.
Yeah,
because you get to see that. If you could only stay for the first part, worth it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a cry once in a while.
That's right.
Okay, what else? So How We Live plays when?
How People Live.
How People Live.
So that plays June 21st.
June 21st. National Indigenous Peoples Day.
That's right.
Great. And are we playing it again?
No, that's playing once. Most of these films, except for Yintah, which I'll actually mention next, are just playing one-off screenings as part of this week. So,
and Wilfred Buck plays
June 27th.
June 27th. Great.
But,
okay. What else?
Same day as How People Live, will be screening Yintah later in the evening.
Sweet.
Directed by Michael Toledano, Jennifer Wickham, and Brenda Mitchell. And it's about Wet'suwet'en land defenders in British Columbia fighting against the pipeline that the Canadian government has illegally, put through by completely ignoring all of the laws that have been passed with the Indigenous groups. And so this film follows the activists that are kind of on the front line fighting against them, and the corporations and the fossil fuel companies that are like lobbying and pushing through for it as well. It looks like an incredibly moving and it looks very powerful. I'm very excited to see it. I think it will be,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too. We just lost a light. Should I turn it back
switch
on?
the battery?
I'll switch the battery out. Hold tight. Don't say anything funny.
Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do.
Okay, so what else is coming up in Doc Week?
Then Aida Returns, which is a Palestinian, Lebanese, Canadian film.
Cool.
So that won't be followed by a panel discussion with the Yukoners for Solidarity and Action organization in town.
Cool.
So I think actually last time we did the podcast, we talked about
Nyla and the
Nyla and the Uprising.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of the next in what's becoming a sort of series. Very excited about this film. It's about directed by Carole Mansour, and it follows her and her relationship with her mother, Ida, who is stricken with Alzheimer's. And as she becomes, as her dementia takes hold more and more, the only kind of thing that she keeps coming back to is trying to return to Jaffa. She was not able to go back. She had to leave, like so many other Palestinians. And this film is about her life, but then also them trying to bring, once she passes away, they're trying to get her ashes back to Jaffa. So it's about this kind of communal effort in trying to return her to her birthplace.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, what else we got in Doc Week?
We have Soviet Bus Stops, which is a documentary by Christopher Herwig, who's a Canadian photographer.
Cool.
And it's just documenting these different bus stops, these brutalist bus stops across the former Soviet Union.
Cool. Yeah. That one
Very
looks
cool
amazing.
architecture. Yeah.
I feel like that one would pair well with Eagle Plains,
Mhm.
which is also playing in Doc Week.
Yes.
What's that one about?
So that's Leah Burns' film that screened at ALF this past year during the festival, and then also in the Community Art Gallery.
Yeah.
Really, the cinematography of that film is really interesting. Lots of these symmetrical shots, and it works almost. It's a sort of documentary or an observational film.
I've described it as like an ambient film.
Yeah.
About the Eagle Plains gas station, which like seems like, kind of a boring place, but I feel like the way it's framed in this film is like makes it seem so interesting and like alive and just full of like history and stories and people. There's like one shot where it's just like somebody doing some taxes or something like that, and it's just like captivating, truly captivating.
Yeah. And it's really cool, it gives we don't often get to see the back end of these places. You go somewhere like Eagle Plains and you either stop for gas or you stop to stay the night, but rarely do you actually spend any time there. So it's I think the film does a good job at kind of immortalizing the Eagle Plains, but also just these kind of places in general, and the back end work of upkeeping a place like this. So yeah, it's a really interesting film. I would suggest
And that one's going to screen with Underdog.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. What's that one about briefly? You don't know.
I'd have to double.
That's
I'd
all
have to. Yeah, I'd have to double.
That's
check.
all right. It's going to screen with the film Underdog. That's Monday, June 24th.
Yes.
that's playing.
Yeah, it's a film about like sled dog racing and sled dogs. But
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Very cool.
yeah.
Underdog.
Yeah.
And then on Tuesday, what do we got? June 25th.
Then we have Plastic People,
Nice.
which is a documentary by Ben Adelman and Zia Tong. And as you can guess, it's an environmental film about microplastics and a very like scientific film. I saw it, a screener of it, and it's science focused, and it follows the ways in which plastic is becoming fundamentally like part of our bodies and part of
We are all plastic people.
yeah, and it goes through lots of like microscopic imagery of seeing like these small microscopic filaments of plastic in people and newborn babies even, and food and everything
crazy.
around us is so it's it's not the funnest film, but it's an important film.
important.
Yeah.
We play horror movies. That might be a bit of a horror movie,
Yeah.
like an unintentional horror movie.
So, and we'll be having a panel discussion with the kind folks at Raven Recenter.
Oh, amazing!
And the Zero
All
Waste
those-
team
all
are
those
gonna
guys.
put
The Zero
together
Waste team.
Yeah, and they're putting together a really amazing panel discussion which will follow the film. So
Cool.
look out for that as well.
Come on out for that. That'll be a very special night. That's June 25th. Plastic People. Cool. Doc Week starts. Oh, it starts on the Friday, June 21st, and then goes to Thursday, June 27th, because that's the way our play weeks work.
Yeah.
We'll have a great week and weekend of films. And then circling back on a couple of films, we've got Robot Dreams coming back, which is a great animated one. Did you see that, Alf? No, you nodded, so I was like, okay. That's something to say. That one's playing June 28th.
You have the art for it though. You have the graphic novel, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
and it's
very
read
cool.
the graphic novel. And then Thelma, we've got playing June 28th to July 4th, which is kind of like a fun romp about an old lady who somebody steals something from her.
she
and
gets
she has to
scammed
steal-
online.
She gets scammed online, which is something I have dealt with old people in my life.
Yes.
It's a serious problem. So that'll be a good one. And then In a Violent Nature, this movie looks scary as it just looks really scary.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can be able to see it, but looks incredible. That one's playing June 28th
Canadian slasher
to June 30th. And so it's Canadian.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe Agna can double check for me again. But yeah, Canadian slasher looks really, really cool. So
Yeah, that one
Check it out.
that one just looks incredible. So that's coming up in June. And then coming up in July, we've got a whole slate of great summer bangers. We've got Songs of Earth, which we just talked about. Maybe. We've got Despicable Me 4. And we all love Minions. Despicable Me. It's a great film. Is Steve Carell coming back in this? Yeah, he is. Okay, awesome.
banana.
That's what
I
you
just
said
said
about-
banana.
You said
Banana.
Oh,
Isn't
banana.
that's a Minion thing, right? Yeah, banana.
Do they say it like that?
I did probably not.
Do your best Minion impersonation.
Banana.
Emmett, you have a good Minion impersonation?
Banana.
Nice. Despicable Me 4. Then we've got Yorgos Lanthimos' Kinds of Kindness coming out. That's going to be with Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and Willem Dafoe once again coming together. Then we've got Bike Riders with Jodie Comer, Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, and one of my favorite actors, Michael Shannon. Great actor, character actor. Then we'll have the new Bad Boys movie, Wolverine and Deadpool, or Deadpool and Wolverine, and Twisters. Is Glenn Powell in that one? Wow. The man can do no wrong. He never misses. The hit man, only making hits. Andrew, is that you lurking back there? What film are you most looking forward to in the next month? Andrew Connor's our artistic director. What film are you looking forward to most in the next month?
I'm looking forward to having a laugh in Babes with Ileana Glazer
Mhm.
and Michelle Bateau. That one looks really funny and irreverent. I love irreverent comedies.
And something for a cry.
Something for a cry. I think for a cry, I'm looking forward to Plastic People, and Yintah as well. Yintah is quite powerful, but challenging because it's it's I think it to be that sort of brave, you need to be optimistic. But it's not altogether a hopeful story. About activism and standing up for indigenous treaty rights and connection to land and reducing our footprint overall as a species. It's kind of hard that way. Yeah, those are two highlights. There's lots more coming up. I'm trying to think of on the June 28th. There was a film. Thelma. Looking forward to Thelma.
Thelma.
More irreverent comedy. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Thelma. More irreverent comedy.
Thank you very much for your pick, ladies and gentlemen. That's Andrew Connors, our artistic director here at the Yukon Film Society. Anybody have anything else to add? See ya. Anybody have anything else to add coming up this month?
I think so.
We covered it all.
Are we hiring?
Are we hiring? Yeah, we're hiring. We're always hiring. We've got Canada Summer Jobs, so I think we're close to finding somebody for that. If you want to come work at the cinema, this amazing institution we've got going on here, drop your CV off at the cinema. We've got an AGM coming up. When's that? What date? Thursday, July 27th. We've Yukon Film Society.
Oh, sorry. Try that again.
Thursday, June 27th is our annual general meeting, our AGM. That'll be here at the cinema. We'll have it at our office.
Attendees get a complimentary ticket to come and see Wilfred Buck with director Lisa Jackson in attendance.
So
Amazing.
come on out, let us know, learn about what we're doing at the Film Society, give us your input. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a party. Maybe there'll be a barbecue. I don't know. There will be a barbecue. Excellent. Hamburgers, veggie burgers, hot dogs, hot and a hot doc.
A hot dog.
That's what I think whenever I hear Hot Docs, which is a film festival. I always just think hot dogs because I'm a hungry boy. All right. Well, thank you both for your time.
Likewise.
Thank you, Agnes, for your time. This has been the Yukon Theater Podcast, the podcast where we tell you what's coming up next and why you should care, because we put a lot of time and care into these selections for you folks here in the Yukon. And if you're outside of the Yukon, maybe you'll get some recommendations on things you can go see at your local cinema or streaming online. It's what it's all about. We're not here to compete with Netflix. We're not here to compete with Crave. We're just here to tell you what's up. Give you our opinions, make some nice, thoughtful selections, and encourage you to come on out, get together with people in your community, and enjoy cinema. And without further ado, we'll see you at the movies. Woo! That was fun. I don't know why I'm...
You're an excellent. Yeah.